I'm afraid I'm causing trouble again.
Hopefully it wasn't from me.
No, it wasn't. I think they're meeting on Matt's Zoom link, which I removed from the town website because Grace told me to.
Okay.
So,
This might make it an easy meeting then.
well, no, they're gonna get, they just might be at their own meeting without you.
Okay. Do you want?
Oh no, people are coming. They did it.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yay. Hello, everyone. I was getting worried I had bombed another meeting for you guys.
We're here.
Excellent.
That's on his way.
Good, good, good. All righty. And I'm assuming Matt would want to be the host. Okay.
Yeah,
And
he had sent out a
Tom?
link for the meeting, Beck.
What?
He had sent out a link for the meeting.
Right. And when I went, because I had been scheduled to open the meeting for you guys, because we have to keep it on a town account. And then I went to I thought Grace had put the link in, and then I went to try it and I couldn't open it. So sorry if I messed him up. I didn't know how, I didn't have a cell.
We got the message.
Good.
Good. I think he's here.
Hello.
Matt,
Hi.
my
need to,
apologies for the late confusion.
Yeah, there was nobody set up the meeting, so I set the meeting up on the town account.
Then it was me for being slow. I had thought I had done it last week.
Okay.
I'm a little up and so thank goodness it's all good. Thank you for doing that, Matt.
I think we have to send a note to our whole group though, because I'm not sure everybody got the memo that we changed it around.
Who do you think I missed? Maybe.
I don't even have the email, so I'm not sure.
I have it. It looks like, I think you've got everybody.
Christine and Judy.
Ria's on there.
Yeah, she was on there.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you got them all.
Okay.
Amy.
Might be, yeah. So
I
who do we
send
have?
texts to anyone.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 4 of us that we're looking for. Let me send a note to Mark.
Right.
Maybe someone should go to that other email. I'm afraid I deleted it. Do you still have it, Matt?
Which one? I mean, I have one that I've been sending to the group here.
Yeah, I wonder if you go there, people might be there and you can just tell them to come to the one on the calendar.
I wish I would have known. I would have
Yeah.
taken care of this earlier. I know some people are on a tight schedule today. That's all.
You
Judy. Okay. I think Ria's unable to come.
Right, she's still out of the country.
That leaves Mark and Christine.
Well, it says Judy, but it's actually Jen.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing. Wow. You're muted, Jen.
I'm just here as a member of the public.
Oh, all right.
Judy will be there momentarily.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else looking for Mark? Who else on our?
Mark and Christine Brassel.
Right.
Did you get cell contact for them, Tom, by chance?
For Mark, I do. For Christine, I only have her email.
Did you send Mark a text?
I think Matt is at the moment.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sent that.
And Matt, if you don't see a town email, if you'll just, I'm sorry, just shoot either Grace or I an email.
I sent a note to Grace. She never responded, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I tried because I was trying to get this set up earlier in the week.
Yeah.
So we'd be all set. But no worries. We'll be ready for next time.
Yes.
Recording in progress. Sorry.
Well, I've got you, Matt. I'm gonna make you the host.
Okay. Now, did you guys typically start all meetings, or how does it typically work?
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought I had to start the meeting. That's what I wasn't certain.
we have discovered a way where you can start the meeting.
Okay.
So, all the rest of the meetings, there's a new feature in Zoom that will, when we set it up, I'll put your email address and log in and you'll be able to set it up. So we'll have
great.
that for the next meeting.
Perfect.
Let me just make, where did Tom? I'm gonna make Tom the co-host and then you the host and then say goodnight. Host. Okay,
Will I list you as present on the minutes, or is that not required for something like that?
probably not required.
Okay, I wasn't trying to do them
'Cause,
simultaneously.
the meeting unfortunately hasn't opened yet officially. 1, 2, 3.
Marcus having trouble now.
So you have 5 now, so you have a quorum.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to start without
Oh, I know, I'm just,
everybody here.
you need 4 more, well, 3 more. Judy's here. So 2 more.
Could I please, oh, yeah, Mike, this is Tom Seifert. Is it Mike Stotts, or is it somebody else on that Zoom for the minute?
Here's Christine. I think we might have everyone now, right?
Rivers?
Mark
Oh,
Rivers.
yeah, little, Mark Jr. I'm sorry.
Mark Jr. or no? He joined the other one. No, I think he's having trouble.
All right.
For the person named Mike on Zoom, can I just
Yes,
have
it's
you?
Mike Stotts.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mike. Is it
What did you
ST?
need to know?
Pardon me?
How did you need to know?
For the minutes?
Not, if I don't say anything, it's a public meeting. I don't have to disclose who I am.
Actually, we do ask everyone to tell who they are. Especially when we started doing that when when we were getting Zoom bombed a lot.
Right? No problem.
Thank you.
I didn't
Okay.
mean to
Thank
impose,
you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tom's the secretary. He's doing it for the minutes.
Christine, you're muted, just so you know, if you're trying to say something.
Mark is here. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Rebecca.
Sorry.
I'm the host, I think. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I'm you.
I'm
I think
Mark.
we have a majority of the folks that we need to get started, so we can get.
I was
Kicked
just
off.
staring at my computer, sorry.
Oh, there's
Evening,
too.
Christine.
All
Hey,
right,
how are
sorry
you,
for the
Dave?
mix-up, y'all. We'll be on point next time. We'll get it going right out of the gate. So, see here. We can. Thanks everybody for joining. I took the liberty of making a couple of slides for the meeting, if that's all right, to try to walk us through all of our initiatives and stuff. And there's lovely Lake Wyola, of course. But what I
Well
first
done,
off,
Matt.
I just want to thank everybody again for joining tonight. And then also, again, thanks again for the nomination to be the chair of the committee. I'll do my best to try to keep us on point and move us forward. But I look forward to working with everybody and, hearing from everybody about what their ideas are. We all share a similar passion and all have a, very keen interest in keeping the lake safe for everybody who's using it for all the fun activities that we do. So I'm excited to help out any way I can to help facilitate this. So thank you. So I did put together as kind of our agenda for today really quick. I just wanted to do a few comments. I think we also want to kind of align on when dates and times for our next meetings. I'd rather just get like 2 or 3 out ahead, so that way we're not chasing it every time we get together, and people can get it on their calendars and plan appropriately. So I thought we could go do that really quick. We could talk about kind of a process and approach I came up with for this committee. We can talk through that, and then the webpage that we're working on. Talk about general email as well. Talk about the minutes and public comment for a few minutes, and then just kind of diving in a little bit, and I'll talk through how we're going to do that. Sound okay with everybody?
Great.
Okay, excellent. Let's talk about this really quick. Let's just lock down the next meeting dates. I kind of picked 3 different schedules here to kind of keep us on a 2-ish, 3-week-ish kind of a cadence. Does October 23rd or 30th work for anybody? Anything specific one way or the other? I'm free on both of these days. That's why I threw them in there.
I'm fine on both, Matt.
Okay. Anybody have any objections of either of those?
No, I don't.
Okay. So I'll pick one of those, and we'll you want to just pick one now? You want to say the 23rd?
Yeah, let's pick it now.
Yeah.
Let's go the 23rd.
23rd.
You good with that, Judy?
Yes, I am. 23rd is good.
Are we
What time
gonna
do
do
you want-
6 or 6:30, Matt? Oh,
what I was gonna ask.
6:30. Okay.
I like,
6:30?
yeah.
6:30 works for everybody. So 6:30 and the 23rd. 13th or 14th? How's everybody's schedule look?
I'm fine with either.
13th would be better for me. I've got other stuff on the 14th.
All right.
The
November
13th is fine.
Is it also 6:30?
Yes. Why don't we just keep them at 6:30 if that works for everybody?
Yeah, I can do the 13th
Okay. Excellent.
or the 14th.
And good. So no objections on the 13th. So we'll do 13th. And how about the 4th or 5th of December? What do you guys think?
Either way, it's fine with me.
Say the 4th, keep it Wednesdays.
Consistency is nice.
Everybody's good? No major objections? Sounds like we have. Well, congratulations to the committee. We got our first 3 meetings lined up.
Woo!
December
We're off to the
4th.
races. We're off to the races here. We're good. We're good. Great. Thank you all for that. That's good. So then the next thing I kind of talked about, I'm just going to hide the pictures here really quick. I took a look back through a couple things I want to talk about, just ground rules kind of in general for all of our meetings in specific. I really cherish and value everybody who's given their time to this committee. So I want to make sure we all get a chance to have a voice or talk, and we respect and listen to everybody's ideas. If anybody goes off the rails, I'll do my best to kind of reel us back in if we're becoming too far off topic or anything like that. But I want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity, and you can raise your hand, or for some reason you can't get your thoughts out to everybody. Even text me during a meeting, and I'll make sure that I get to you, because I want to make sure that everybody gets a fair opportunity to share ideas, because I think that's how we're going to come up with the best resolutions and best suggestions from this committee, is making sure we get a good diverse group of discussion going. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good there. All right, so you guys can hold me accountable to doing that, so feel free. And then what I did is I just took a peek at the charge in general that the town. So essentially, we have a job to do as a committee. They gave us a job, and they gave us 4 pretty clear objectives that they want this committee to go through. I kind of listed them here. I'm not going to reread them. You guys have all seen the charge. But I think it's important that we kind of try to stay kind of on topic towards what they've asked us to do, so we can get it done in the right amount of time, and make sure that recommendations and thoughts and education and all the things that we want to recommend to the select board are going to be able to get done. So with doing that, I kind of thought through kind of what an approach might look like. And I think we should look at each of the current bylaws. And I came up with my fancy acronym here, the UEER approach, which I'd like to kind of, discuss the usage of how of the lake may be impacted by the bylaw. That was kind of one of the things they asked for. So when we look at each of the bylaws, and then as we think about if we want to propose a new bylaw, whatever it may be, we kind of do this with this in mind. So we think about how it impacts, usage of the lake. Is the bylaw going to be feasible to be enforced? And we'll have to get, insight from law enforcement, from the chief and, from the fire department if there's something specific that way. Discuss how we could, better educate the public on these bylaws, if there's things that we could be doing. And then do we need to recommend any changes, or are they acceptable as written? And I think that's kind of what we want to do for each of the bylaws that we currently have. And then throughout this process, my expectation is that we'll have a spawning of a whole host of new ideas that'll most likely come up from the discussions. And I kind of, in my notes here, I have a parking lot. If there's somebody says, hey, I really want to talk about, I think we should add a different idea or an education or something like that, that's maybe not on topic, we'll put that in the parking lot and kind of the education section, and we'll capture that in our minutes. We'll have a running list of things that when we get through the bylaws, we can come back to and have a kind of, more things to discuss and potentially propose for recommendations. So we'll kind of keep a list of those, because I want to make sure that good ideas are captured. We don't lose something just because we're talking about one thing, but we want to kind of stay on topic at the same time. How does that sound to everybody? I kind of tried to give this some thought yesterday, and this is what I came up with. Does it sound feasible to give it a shot?
I like it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So we're going to remember UEER. That's what we're going to do when we talk about the bylaws. And we'll hopefully make some headway. So next we had the webpage and email. So just want to give you guys an update. I've been kind of trying to figure this out over the last week as well. But the town will create us a webpage. It'll be the Lake Wyola Boating and Safety Committee webpage. We need to list the committee members on that webpage. So once Tom shoots over, you guys sent Tom all your information. I think we just put our names on there. We don't have to put our emails. The town's going to generate a email address for us for communication purposes. This is Tom's recommendation, by the way. So thanks, Tom. I was quick to ask.
I'm glad that they were agreeable to it.
Yeah, they're going to give us something, lwbsc@shutesbury.org.
Oh, do they already know what it'll be?
We don't know. I think they're going to help us create that.
Oh, okay.
We will have a general box that if people want to communicate to the committee, it'll go to a central box that at least Tom and I will have access to, and then we can share that information on our calls if there's things that are pertinent we need to share with the committee. The webpage, we'll go to post information on it. We would come up with educational ideas down the road, and we have new signage or something new, and it could be a new here's some tips, or here's some things you'd be thinking about. Whatever it is that we want to share, we'll be able to have that on one spot that we can share with the public, and they can see what we're working on, or things that are pertinent to the group. So one of the things that we need to do when we create this web page, this landing page, is they want a kind of a summary of what our committee is doing and what we're all about. So I did take a crack at writing that up, and we don't have to review this and like agree on it now. I can send this to everybody after the meeting. You can all take a look at it, and we can maybe just say, maybe vote on it, or ask for suggestions over the next couple of weeks. I can add or subtract or put different things on, but I tried to capture what I believe, from the charge and also the conversations over the last couple of months looks like. But it's really all about, safety, and how do we make sure that everybody can enjoy themselves in a safe manner at the lake. So I'll let everybody, have to read it again today. I'm sure you probably read it by now, but it's hopefully it's encompassing of what we're trying to do. And that could just be our little snippet when people come to our page. That makes sense. Okay.
Looks good. And there's a time frame, Tom, to get this done, or what's the to get the page up?
Hopefully within a week or so. They're
right.
waiting for me after this meeting, and I get all the names of the people. I'm sure I have that correct. Then I can get them this, and it sounds like they can make it within about a week or so. By next meeting, I would anticipate that we would have a web page.
And who would control the content on the webpage? I mean, updating, is that Tom's responsibility? Will that be you, Matt?
I think it'll probably be both of us. I'll make sure we both have access. There's no
Okay.
reason for just one single person to own it. I'd rather, if people want to, we want to be able to communicate things, and if I'm traveling or something, we need to get something up, I'd like for other people to have access to, but keep it to the two of us for now.
Well, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Okay. That's what I had on. So those are kind of the quick agenda items that I had to start with. I did put time on for just 5 minutes of public comment. if anybody had anything specific that they wanted to talk about or put out, while we're getting started here. We'll have to decide, what we want to do going forward, if we want to, have, more time for public comment, less time for public comment. And go ahead, Jennifer, please.
Hi,
Nice
I
hand raise
just-
too, by the way. I like that.
yeah, I learned how to do that on my committee. I haven't learned how to unraise it though. No, I have.
I can show it.
I was hoping that you all would put on your list of things to consider when you're working out your schedule, if you'll be open to having a kind of a general public presentation of your draft prior to it going to the select board, so that people in the town can comment and, give their feedback. That's been done on other bylaw reviews. So this is not an agenda item for you tonight, but I was hoping that you all might discuss that at some point. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else have any specific comments? Anyone? Not seeing any other hand raisers. I think we're in good shape. Good? All right.
Good.
Excellent. Thank you. So back to the kind of the document that I came up with. So I thought what we would do is we would take a crack at, just starting to discuss, the different bylaws that we have, kind of using our method that we're going to attempt to use here, which I think, it's open for comment and discussion.
Matt, are we going to review the minutes and approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Good call.
I
Tom,
thought
do we
that was
have-
on the agenda before this item.
It is. Tom, do we have the minutes from the prior meeting?
He sent them out.
Yep. If
I
you want,
read them.
if you want, I can share the screen for people to see. Or I think I can share my own screen. She said she made me co-host. Right.
Did everyone receive them?
Everybody saw
As
the
far
minutes?
as I know, I didn't catch that somebody did not receive them. My computer is just in the process of sharing it. Hopefully it comes on.
There they are. We see them now, Tom.
Okay, good. So yeah, I don't know who had a chance to look at them. A few people have told me already they have had a chance. I haven't noticed any changes. Let me know if I should scroll or if anybody had a comment, please.
I'm
Is
gonna
the-
make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to approve them.
I've got one quick correction I would like to
Oh.
make if possible, Tom. I'm not actually a junior. I've got different middle names. So for the sake of, my personal preference, but also making sure that everything's legit. If you just put Mark E. Rivers, that would be fine. No junior, please.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
We just call you Junior, I guess.
Right. I always call them junior. Anyhow, now I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I, oh, sorry.
Anybody- Do you need anything before the motion? Tom?
We need a second.
I second.
And I just wanted to ask people, was that Judy who seconded?
Yes, Judy Rummel.
Thanks. I actually have to record all of that. And is this format good for people? Was there anything on the format that should have been better or would be more welcome?
They look perfect.
I
Looks
think
great
it
to
looks
me.
good.
Okay, thanks. Let me know whenever you have thoughts like that, please.
All right, we have a motion in the second.
These are alphabetical. If people want to name themselves with their last name and then I or nay, we could start with Matt, then Christine and whatnot. You would just say heroic, and then you would say your vote.
Oh, guy.
Brassel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for heroic.
Oh, I thought I heard her
said
say
it.
I.
I just said
Yes.
aye. Sorry.
Yes,
Thank you.
everything's, yep, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Aye. Agreed.
Lehan, aye.
Thank you. Remmel is up.
Rummel, I.
Rivers, I.
Salvador, I.
And Seifert, aye.
Very nice.
Minutes approved.
Minutes have been approved. And what, do you send those to the town, Tom, or how does that work?
Once they're approved, I put the approval date and give a PDF, I think, to the clerk, who will take it from there for storing and toaster.
Perfect. Good to hear.
Mhm.
I'll go back to my share now, if that works for everybody.
Oh, thanks. Perfect.
I took care of it.
Yeah, got it.
I'm not as useful. I'm not as familiar with Zoom as I am Teams, but we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
So what I thought we would do for today, and kind of utilize our time up to I do want to be prompt at 7. I know that people have a few other meetings they need to get to as well. So we'll have some dialogue and start having some discussion. But I think we should just jump right in and talk about each of these bylaws. I put a couple on here. I don't know if we'll get through all of them tonight or not, but we can start with number 1, which is motorboats must comply with Massachusetts boating laws and Coast Guard regulations for safety equipment. So I guess I'd like to kind of open that up for conversation, discussion. If anybody has any specific concerns about that bylaw, and I think we should look at it from a, let me share one more time here. My share went away. Apologize. Let's take a look here.
As a legal standpoint, we don't have much choice in leaving those information in there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I did take a peruse through the boating laws and in the Coast Guard regulations. That all seem pertinent to everything we're doing. I think one thing that I did mention in there was make sure that paddle users are wearing life vests. That was something that was in there that I saw. That could be potentially good to use for educational purposes down the road, making sure that people are aware that they should have a PFD on if they're in some of these pieces of equipment.
If that's during certain time, what's that, September to April, they're required to have them on, and then otherwise they're required to be in the boat, correct?
Yes.
Mark Rivers,
Right.
is that right?
Yes. Yes, that's correct. With the concern being that cold water immersion in the later season is much more life threatening than in the summertime. Thoughts I have on this as a bylaw as far as education. I think that it's important if we are posting the bylaws
Oh my.
that we not just post must comply with the Massachusetts boating and Coast Guard. I think it would be handy to have maybe not every one of them, but the major regulations from the Coast Guard and the Massachusetts boating laws also posted with our bylaws when we're talking about posting things for education. This also kind of comes into the idea of safe boating courses are kind of the main way I believe most people learn about these laws and the different regulations. And I don't know if down the road we can look at maybe the town sponsoring some safe boater courses, things like that. Have the Coast Guard come speak, things that help get this information out there, because it's much broader than the 3 lines here, whatever make it seem to be. And I believe that it really does encompass most of what are issues on the lake.
No, those are some great points, Mark. And I know I remember a long time ago I took a boater safety course. It was at Brunel's back in the day. But it was run by the Coast Guard, and you got a certificate, and it was a great way to learn a lot of awareness, especially around safety. There's no doubt.
Yep.
And there's also, it's also the entry for people who are underage to get a license to operate a motorboat.
Yep.
But they have to have that license. I think it's 16 and under.
Yeah, you can get it starting at 12, last I checked. And then, up until you have a regular driver's license. And I believe that being 16 does not necessarily qualify you to drive a motorboat unless you have an actual driver's license.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing, because I think that, we want people, I think that when you talk about things that should be educated more broadly is, yeah, that's, you don't want a bunch of people to showing up at the lake, and jump in a boat and take off, and, they're 15 years old and nobody has any wherewithal what the laws and rules are.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Kathy
that's a
has her
good one.
hand up.
Good, Kathy.
I'm just curious, how long a course is that? Is it several hours, several days, or is it something that could be offered, at the Lake Association at some point if it's condensed?
I'm not sure we want to condense it unless maybe doing like a yearly review option. Might be something nice to let people come and get a refresher. I want to say it's a minimum like a half-day course, if not a full-day course. Let me try to find that out right now.
Do you mind taking an action item? I'm writing you down, Mark, as an action item to, would you mind just doing a little recon and
Yep.
report back on what you learned on that?
I also do know that there is a pretty easy online option. My son took it again just last, I think it was spring. I would need to check with him on details, but I do think it only took him a couple hours and it was easily available online. I think for perhaps $60.
Could you please, I'm sorry, I missed things. To become what exactly would that qualify a person for? Was it a boating license or?
You would
Was-
get a boating license with the
Thank you. Okay, I just-
Massachusetts Safe Boating Course.
Perfect, thank you.
And the in-person format runs approximately 10 to 12 hours in length.
What's the difference between that and the online?
How much you are forced to pay attention potentially.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Anything else on the, this one's pretty
We
cut and
should,
dry.
yeah, we
I
should
do
move
think
on
it's
from this
pretty-
one, Matt.
Hi, I don't know how to raise my hand on the thing, but
Okay.
I
I do
don't
have
either.
a question about the paddle boards and the canoes and things. A lot of times I'll see maybe one parent with 3 little kids on a paddle board, and some of them don't have life preservers on. And I don't know if that can be a requirement or not. It looks pretty tricky to have 3 kids that if something happened.
It is a paddle craft. It is a vessel. So it's the same as a canoe as far as the Coast Guard is concerned. If they are on it, they need to have a PFD on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's often, that is probably the biggest area where we see people not wearing them is the stand-up paddle boards and not even having them on the board.
Yeah.
They do make options when I'm out paddling mine, I have an inflatable belt style PFD. So it's not big and bulky all the time. And if I go in the water, I can deploy it. And that's one of those things I don't think a lot of people know that that's an option. So this again could kind of fall under education if we're helping with that. Letting people know that they don't necessarily have to wear the big bulky life jacket. There are other more convenient options that might get people more likely to wear something.
All right, well, good, Tom.
Thanks. Are we still on the topic of number 1 here on the slide? Because I just wanted to add that to the best of my knowledge, it's chapter 90B of the Massachusetts General Law, sections 1 to 19. That is the motorboats and other vessels and recreation vehicles on water. And then there's a code of Massachusetts regulations 323 2.00 about the use of vessels. And as far as I understand it, those are the 2 documents that led to what's on the slide here, the Massachusetts Boating Law Summary. So I can include those in the minutes, or if anybody wants to know about them.
Yes.
Those are good reads, I think, and they touch on a lot of what people are mentioning right now, among other things. But they're like the most uncomfortable to read because they're not as user-friendly as the law summary and whatnot, but they really get to every detail.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it would be good if we all took the opportunity to work our way through those. and have that kind of better understanding of what's already covered by those. Especially before we get to the recommendations point, in the future. No
Yeah.
need to reinvent the wheel on some things, I would believe.
Good discussion. All
Off
right.
off topic of this, for those of us who haven't figured out how to raise the hand, how do we do that? Can anybody give us a
If you
quick?
go to the bottom of your Zoom screen,
Yep.
some icons will show up, and one of them is reaction.
Okay.
And if you click on reactions, one of the options is raise your hand.
Recognize hand gestures is
At least that's what it is on mine. I don't know. I'm on a browser.
Oh, I
don't know if
see
you-
it. Yeah,
I got
I
it.
see it.
Oh, there you raised your hand.
Congratulations.
And now you can lower your hand too. It should offer that once
Hey.
you.
Congratulations.
If anybody else is having trouble, I had a little like arrow. Don't click on that. You got to click on the actual react heart is what mine is. That was the thing that I was messing up.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Did it?
All right, moving on, Matt.
Moving on. So well, why don't we jump into number 2 here? So if we look at the second bylaw, it talks about the speed limit on the lake as 30 miles an hour. In the daytime and 5 miles an hour, sunset to sunrise, or they'd say all ahead speed is kind of the, kind of in gear, so to speak, speed for the other times. And I know that, the Massachusetts law is 45 miles per hour is the max limit in the state. So somewhere back in their wisdom, they felt that 30 miles an hour was an appropriate limit for our lake, probably based on size and use and those types of things. But I'd be curious on, just kind of starting a dialogue around, speeds and different things like that, and talk about, based on usage and based on, how that potentially is enforced, or how that's, or we're not enforcing it, or I'm just curious on everybody's thoughts. So I'll open it up to the committee to kind of start a dialogue on what people think.
I would love to hear from if the police chief is on here, or if someone from town safety, how it is absolutely possible to enforce a speed limit on the lake when there's no law enforcement presence or anything like that. I don't know how fast these boats are going around the lake. No clue. What is speeding?
Yeah, and I think that, I think one thing I think with, education and, thinking about, speed in general, I'll get right to you in a second there. I see your hands raised. It's kind of like a speed limit that's posted on the road, right? I mean, it says 40 miles an hour, and, it's enforced when and if there's potentially people there, I guess. But let me go over to Leonard. Why don't you?
Yeah, I'm Lenny Zerwanka, Shutesbury Fire.
Oh, hey, Lenny.
I can't speak for the police. We're the fire department. We don't enforce speed limits. The police really don't either. My understanding is they need the environmental police with their that enforces it. So that is an issue there. You see a boat going fast around the lake, and how do you enforce it? Which I think is a big problem, because it's, I think most people comply with it.
Yeah, I think I appreciate that. I think that there is a fair amount of, people are aware that, there's safe speeds and there's unsafe speeds. But I'll go over to Kathy.
Is speed the issue with regard to the accident that's kind of brought us all together as a committee? Or do we not know any more about that accident than
We don't
what's
have a
already
copy.
public?
We don't have a copy of the accident report, right? The police investigation, to my knowledge, right, Matt?
Nothing I know of, yeah, and that's something I was going to ask Chief Burgess if she has any more recent information. So I have that down as an action item for me to ask. But to your point, Kathy, I think that is what prompted, this committee and kind of concern, is that we've had a very safe lake I think we've had a record of 20, 25, 30, 25 plus years of no major accidents. And, I think there is a connotation at least that speed was an issue with a specific boater in mind that does tend to, as I would call it, probably speed more than others on on the lake. And at times that are more like dusk-like, at least in my observation. I'm not pointing fingers or anything like that, just from what I've seen living at the lake, times and things like that, I think are important. And I think in the time of that accident, there's also people that travel the lake know that there's glare from time to time too. So I'll leave it at that, but I'll let everybody else kind of chime in here. Christine, go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to explain, one night I was sitting, just kind of relaxing, and we noticed a specific speedboat that was very excessive speeding, and we could tell the way he was winging by. And so I decided to call 911. And when I did, I got the police station. They said they weren't working. Shutesbury wasn't working. I had to call the state police. And I said, I don't want to call the state police over this. They're not going to do anything. So then they transferred me, and I wound up getting the environmental police, and they said that they would have to be called. They could put me through to them. And I said, well, you know what? I'm looking at the beach, and there's a cruiser sitting there. I can see lights going. And sure enough, it was the environmental police sitting there, but they never clocked him. They saw him, and they never did anything to record that he was speeding.
I know.
So it's a little discouraging when you try to follow the rules to get something resolved, and we didn't get supported.
I think in a case where, I don't know what but I think it would be great to get, Chief Burgess's opinion on how we should think about that, because one thing we don't want to do is, we're not the police. So, for us to go approach people or doing something like that, it's probably not.
And she doesn't want us to.
Yeah. And at the same time, I think that's, not our place in world. But again, if somebody's not being safe, there has to be a means and a method for us to make them aware of that person or that instance. I think,
and it was unfortunate is the person that we've been talking about that was speeding that day.
Yeah. Being on the lake, and I know how fast my boats go. I mean, 30 is a good speed. I mean, I don't think you need much more than that, quite frankly. I mean, it seems like it's maybe from time to time you're bumbling a mile or two above or below, but it's not, for the most part. We have a lot of we have a lot of cruisers on this lake. If I have to say, people just putt around. But Mark, go ahead. You had your hand up.
All right. So one question for the environmental police. The Massachusetts speed limit is 45 miles an hour. Do they have the authority? Can they enforce the 30-mile-an-hour limit, them being state law enforcement versus Shutesbury law enforcement? Curious if we can kind of figure that out. That's probably a good question for the chief, if we can get her on one of these meetings. Because is it a moot point if we call the environmental police and they're like, they're doing 40, it's speeding on your lake, but it's not for us. So that would be interesting to figure out. The other question is, right now our police cannot enforce because they can't get on the water. We do have a boat in town. What would it take for the town of Shutesbury to get the boat up and running and in a position to enforce these things? I would imagine a radar detector that they've got in the cruiser, like a handheld one, should work on the water. I don't know.
From that same perspective, though, my question would be: is from time to time, would it not be prudent for, if the police are out, could they not go to the dam or to the public beach and do a little radar shooting and see what's going on out there? I mean, why do they have to even be? I mean, in that case, they can get the serial number, or they get the registration number off the side of every boat by law, which will tell them where the boat is from. So, part of it is, I know a lot of it's been around. I think, and I don't disagree with where you're at. And I think that's a parking lot topic for, how can we get police presence maybe in some of the busy times of the year from time to time, again, to raise awareness, because just them being there, it makes people, get back in line, so to speak. It just, the awareness of them knowing that they're there, even if it's for a short amount of time, it makes people think. And I think that's not a bad thing. But yeah, my question would be is, how can they even potentially, from time to time, again, they can't do this all the time, but, just like they'll shoot radar on the side of the road sometimes in areas where people are speeding to try to, deflate the, to kind of raise awareness and let people know they're watching. that there is a speed limit and they should be abiding by it. So I think that's something to think about too. I think Dave, I think you're next, and then Tom, I see you as well.
I was just going to suggest, given that the chief of police is not here, that we make sure we table this topic for the next meeting. We're going to have to circle back to it to make sure that she's here, because us batting it around without her presence is probably not a good use of our time.
Well, that's not a bad thing. Yep, fair enough. Tom, I think you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, then I won't belabor it, but just to answer Mark's question, the chief was at an LWA meeting in August where she very clearly said exactly what you said, Mark, that the environmental police can't enforce town bylaws that are stricter than the state ones. So there is a situation of hand tying or whatnot. Only the town can enforce the 30-mile-per-hour limit. But yeah, other things, I guess, until Kristen's here. But
Leonard.
Yes, I maybe invite somebody from the environmental police to join one of these meetings and see what they can and can't do. It does seem kind of frustrating if we have a bylaw at 30 miles an hour and there's no way to enforce it. This is to me not right. So I don't know if there's fine print somewhere else saying boating to endanger, because obviously you can endanger somebody while being well under any type of speed limit. So
yeah, I'll definitely reach out to the chief, and I'll find out when she can be available. I'll give her the dates of the next meetings, and then I think to your point, Dave, I think we kind of will plan to recircle the ranch and get some of the information straight from the chief would be very helpful. But go ahead, Kathy. So your hand is up as well.
Yeah, just food for thought. We don't have to decide this today, but I know that the gentleman who was on the receiving end of that boating accident had expressed interest in being on the committee, but he missed the deadline and he was a little frustrated. He had been out of town, I guess, or something happened that he didn't meet the deadline to throw his hat in the ring. I'm wondering if as a committee, we might consider at some point in our conversation, inviting him as a member of the public to just provide his 2 cents worth. I think it's important to hear from him.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tom Connors, for sure. Great suggestion.
He certainly has that opportunity as someone who could join in the public comment as well. I mean, it's an open meeting.
Absolutely. And we can make it an agenda item too, if that's something that we decide as well. I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's good. Okay, I think we have enough to do there on this one. I have some action items on what we need to do. I think I think, from an just to round this out a little bit, from an educational perspective, I think definitely if there is a speed limit on the lake, that we should definitely have it posted and be really, really prominent, especially for, people that are visiting the lake, as well as, communication LWA and all the other, folks that are in and around the lake, and, make this, a major part of, signage as we think about that down the road. Speed limit is really important because people that come to the lake that aren't from here and they're used to being on the Connecticut River or, pick any other body of water, if they have in mind, hey, 45 is the limit, some of these bass boats that show up at the lake, they can whip around pretty quick if they would like. So I think that's really important from a signage perspective, just my 2 cents. Good, Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm wondering if signage maybe at a few docks, I don't know if that's overkill, but, signage at the boat ramp maybe would be ignored, but signage at a couple of locations as a boat is going around the lake might have a greater impact because it's kind of in your face.
Yeah, I mean, you can even think about it as if there was a floating buoy, even so to speak, that had the speed limit on it. Something like that.
Or
I said maybe
your speed
in front of the you could have like those little things when you go by and the lights go off. The
solar powered thing.
Yeah, little solar powered things. But I mean, you think about we have relation to LWA. Could we put a buoy out there that says lake speed limit 30 miles an hour? Right? I mean, it's just when you drive by, you're going to see it. again, awareness is huge. Go ahead, Mark.
So yeah, on the topic of the posting the speed limit, we do have the swim zone buoys at the 3 association beaches. I don't see why we couldn't potentially get a little taller buoy and slap the speed limit on there as well. But also lots of boats don't have speedometers. Like I know my fishing boat, I have to use my GPS on my phone. And quite frankly, most of the time my phone is not out on the boat. It is tucked away because I don't want to fall in the water. Again, um, so something that might be helpful for people to measure their speed without a speedometer. I don't know if anybody's ever seen on the interstate when they have lines painted at certain intervals and you time yourself for the interval and that they tell the posted time for the speed you're supposed to be traveling. Is that something that we potentially could set up at the lake? A series of 2 buoys, and at 30 miles an hour, it takes X number of seconds. So if you are faster than that, you're going too fast, and if you're slower than that, you're okay. Or some version of something like that.
I remember I did this one time because I was trying to work on an exercise competition. I was trying to get miles for water skiing. And I actually clocked my speed to go around, how long it took to go around the lake. I think I was right around 30. I think I was at 30 miles an hour too. It was like 2.5, 3 minutes or something. They go make the loop around, something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're going faster, if it takes you that, less than that to go around the lake, you're going too fast. Kind of maybe there's some kind of guideline we could give people to, like I said, make a relation that gives them hey, from between the dam and the end of to the cove is, you should be there. It shouldn't, that 15 seconds is 30 miles an hour or whatever that, that time interval is. But to your point, put a couple landmarks out there. That could
maybe
be part
it's
of
the state beach, the 2 ends of the state beach. If we figured out what that distance was, because then that's a constant, and maybe the state would let us put up some flags or something to mark it.
Yeah, good ideas. Put them all in the parking lot. I got them capturing them. Christine?
Judy had her hand up as well.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Judy.
Hi. Yeah, I also, we're right by the cove and there is a no wake buoy there, but the no wake is off of it. You can't read it. And the same person that has been a problem for a long time, and others too, come out of there really, really fast. So, and they always have a big wake behind them. So I don't know what about that. I mean, is there a speed limit back in the cove? And
it should be. I mean, when we say no wake, that should be 5 miles an hour.
yeah, it should be.
Boating talk. It should be 5 miles per hour. And again, I think that's a good point. Is for Chief Burgess is when we see these things like this, and it's one thing if somebody does something one time, but if it becomes systemic, how do we report such activity is really something we need to understand.
Right, and that buoy needs to have the no wake back on it. I guess that may help.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, and then Judy's point, I mean, it seems like it's, from what I'm seeing and hearing, that it seems to be the same people doing this over and over again. So,
well, there's the one in particular, and he's
yeah.
lying out, but there are others too. A lot of people cruise back in there, and they're, well, I don't know what speed they're going, but they do have wakes.
Yeah. And the other thing we have to look at too is we keep saying 30 miles an hour. How fast does a boat have to actually go when they're skiing?
It's right about there.
I can speak to that. That largely depends on the
person
size of the
going.
person being pulled.
Yeah.
With a small child, doesn't have to be that fast. Someone of my increased weight, I got to be 30 to really stay up on top of the water. But you should be able to handle. I mean, I'm a big guy on a small ski. You shouldn't need to go much faster than what I'm having to do.
Thank you.
Right, though. Yeah.
I think another thing that was kind of mentioned earlier, who it was that said it, is also understanding that there is some variation to what speed is necessary or safe based on different conditions on the lake. 30 miles an hour may feel not very fast at all when there's no boats on the lake and it's flat and calm and we're water skiing at 9 o'clock in the morning. But 30 miles an hour is far too fast when there are 10 boats out there and it's wavy. So it's having some consideration for conditions. I mean, I think that's more directed towards education rather than bylaw distinction.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a really good point. There has to be some, again, if you're counting on common sense, sometimes it doesn't always pay off, but it's you should definitely agree that you need to assess the conditions as you're going for your own safety, for the love of God. I think that makes sense. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I think this is kind of on the same topic here. The idea that a lake is not always safe for you to be on just because you want to be on it. In any craft, there are going to be times where it's not safe to be out there, and a lot of the education should be, how to make good decisions about when you should go out. Like, you should not decide to go out in your sailboat with a metal mast right before a thunderstorm comes in. The wind's going to be great. It's probably going to be really fun sailing, but that's not a smart idea. Because you're going to get struck by lightning. It's not a smart idea to go water skiing when you are having to dodge around other slower boats and there's a big parade of people going out there. And again, when it's getting to be low light, we have that glare at certain times of day. Sitting and fishing in that glare where nobody can see when they're coming around, no matter what speed they're going, it's not a safe decision. And so kind of, I think, again, if we look towards putting education out there later on, making sure we mention, both the thought process of how to determine if it's safe for you to go out, but then also specific considerations for Lake Wyola, particularly, given that we know there's a glare. We know what direction travel is supposed to be in. We know where there are shallow areas that you cannot be going at speed, things like that. I think would be important to include in education that if this committee puts out, or if there's the association puts together some sort of safe boating course, that kind of information would be very useful.
Okay. Dave, go ahead.
I just have to say, I apologize. I have a 7 o'clock meeting I have to attend, so I have to jet out of here, guys.
Yep. And we're gonna wrap it up here in 2 minutes too. So thank you, Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. A great discussion tonight. I apologize. I gotta go. Thank you.
I do as well. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye, Kathy. I know you guys have the
Bye.
other meeting.
Good meeting.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Do we have to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I think we had Leonard, you want to say something? Go ahead. You got 2 minutes.
Oh, you're muted, Leonard.
Yes, could I get put in the email chain on this? I don't believe I got any emails.
Okay.
Will
Absolutely.
do.
Yep, we'll copy you and Chief Burgess. I think we'll get you guys in the loop.
Thank you.
But I know
Do you have it? Do you have
Go
it? You can get it off the Shutesbury's website, or I can give it to you right now.
Fire away. That's a pun.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Fire DPT at Shutesbury.org.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Well, I think that's probably a great spot to kind of wrap up, and we can maybe continue on this, when we convene, and we can start talking about the next several bylaws as well. But I really appreciate everybody's discussion, everybody's input. I think it was a good, hearty conversation, and definitely appreciate everybody chiming in. I think we heard from almost everybody several times, so that's all we can ask for. Great participation. So I will ask for someone to make a motion to adjourn the meeting, because I can't do it as the chair.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who seconded?
I second.
Oh,
I second as well if Lenny doesn't count towards the second one, just in case.
that's a lot, but I will check in case there's issues.
I give it you. You're an ad hoc member or something, right?
Exactly. I don't.
Yeah.
know. But,
I'll make sure you're above board.
So
Well, I thank everybody again. I think this was
Could we just do a really quick roll call, Baroic,
Baroka.
Brazel,
Yes,
Lahane,
Aye.
Remmel,
Bramall,
aye,
aye.
Seaford, aye, Rivers,
Rivers Eye.
thanks, sorry, want to make sure we did that.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Great kickoff. Thanks for all the support.
That was
and,
great.
look
Thank
forward to more
you.
conversations. Thank you.
Good
Take care,
job,
guys.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Night.
night.
Bye-bye.